welcome back to Aspiration Athletics, guys. It's Devin here, and today I'm going to be breaking down what is the best course of action for you to put together your own workout routine if you're just starting out as a beginner. So bear with me as I go through a list of exercises that you can do and kind of give you a breakdown, how to do them, what rep scheme you should start with, and what orientation to begin with so that you can be successful in your fitness journey. Stay tuned. All right, so our first exercise we're gonna be doing, and which I believe you should start with, is your lower half. Okay, so we're gonna be going through a total body approach here, but when we start with legs in this first exercise, we wanna make sure we're warming up the body. So if you haven't yet, tune into my last warm-up video for sport performance lifting so you can see how you warm up the hips and how to warm up the body before getting started. So let's go ahead and kick this off. We've got our first exercise. We've got a dumbbell bench squat. So as you notice, I start this motion by keeping my chest and shoulders held high. I pinch my shoulders back, right? Dumbbells are held to my side. I push my butt backwards towards the bench before I even start to lower. As I lower, I stay on my heels. I drive through my heels to stand up. All right, so now we're on to another pressing motion. We're working from the low body up. So now we're going into a dumbbell chest press. I really like this exercise outside of bench pressing because it teaches the individual to be able to utilize both arms and separate from a barbell, which is a compound movement, which we'll get into in a later series. But for now, we're gonna be doing dumbbell chest press. So a lot of people mess up on this part and they overstrain their shoulders because they're trying to lay down and pull the weight on top of them. That's really bad for your rotator cuff, and we don't want to damage that during a pressing motion. So I'm going to safely load the weight by doing what's called a sumo load. I've loaded the weight successfully without using too much energy. I'll lower myself to the bench as we want to pinch the shoulders towards the bench. So I usually have everyone shrug up and then pinch back. That creates a nice small mouse hole in the lower part of the back, preserving our spine and placing the load specifically on our chest. From here, I'm gonna lower to 90, press up to the ceiling. Now what you'll notice is the nature of my press here. I've got a slight angle of my elbow. I'm not flared out, okay? So when we're thinking about preserving the integrity of our rotator cuff, we need to do what mechanically feels right. So for those of you that may be pressing out here with your elbows out, you're placing more strain and impact on the rotator cuff that's not necessarily needed. We can have a better pressing motion if we cock those arms a little bit inward and keep the strength toward our body rather than away from it. All right, so that brings us to our third exercise. And in this exercise, we're actually gonna be doing a pulling motion. So if we're starting out as a beginner, we need to make sure that we're hitting all parts of the body. It's important to build proprioception or that body awareness. So we started with a push through our legs, then we started with a push through our arms. Now we're gonna go into a pulling motion for the low body, going back down the body toward our legs. So this one I really like. It's a classic movement. You've heard of deadlifting. I'm gonna be doing deadlifting with dumbbells here. I'm gonna start with that weight in front of me, hips width distance of my feet. I'm gonna push my butt backward, letting those dumbbells glide along my legs without making contact. Okay, this is a hinge position. Now, I'm actively working my low back erector spinae, as well as keeping my shoulders pinched back, working my shoulder retractors. So that's your rhomboids, that's the muscles that make up the back, and as well as influence the rotator cuff. So I push my butt backwards, I'm getting my hamstrings to work here, getting a nice stretch, that peak tension's at the bottom of the movement here, and I bring myself back up. Again, this is a great exercise for you to develop your posterior. So we're targeting our lower half being our hamstrings and our glutes, but we're really actually getting a total body workout here. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of a sweat going. We've got the entirety of our posterior, everything in the back of us working to create tension on that movement. And you'll find that it's even more intense when we progress into barbell later on. So this is a good exercise for low body pulls. So what I like to do here whenever I'm dealing with someone who's newer into finding these positions and building that body awareness, that proprioception, I like to have them supported in the positions that they're going to be working in. We're going to have our chest supported on the bench. Now, you can't be lazy here. I see a lot of people make this mistake. Quit being lazy. Pick your chest up, pinch those shoulder blades back because we want tension on the body. You'll notice at this point, my low back's working again. So I'm getting those same erector spinae muscles that we had working in the deadlift motion to work in this motion as well. So I'm targeting my rhomboids as I pull. Now you'll notice I'm pulling towards my pocket in an arc motion. That's a great way to limit the amount of stress and impact that the joints are facing throughout the motions. Okay? So again, it's a great way to facilitate that position to ensure optimal lifting form. So now that we've finished some of those bigger movements, we're going to get into accessory movements. So more of an isolated approach here. We're targeting biceps and triceps. So we're going to be going through a simple superset, meaning we're doing one exercise right after the other, in which I'm pressing down, extending through the tricep. I stop at 90 degrees and back down. I keep my core nice and tight, keeping tension throughout so that I'm not over-exaggerating and letting my form get into a state to where it looks too poor or could be negatively influencing the body and causing damage. So elbows planted to my sides just like the tricep motion, and I want to pick the rope up and spread out. So that ensures that I'm not only working the single head of the bicep at the peak, but that I start to incorporate the other muscles of the forearm. Keep tension on as you come down. I don't let my arms relax. I keep tension on. Spread the rope at the top. So this is a great exercise, 2 exercises for you to add to your arm routine during these accessory portions of our movements. These are a little more isolated in nature, so you're able to do a bit higher repetition in some cases, and we'll talk about more of the details along the way. All right, lastly, to conclude our full body workout, we've got to hit core. So it's usually the one exercise that most people tend to neglect besides squatting. So this one is a really good exercise that incorporates your entire body. And this one's called our dead bug. So what we're looking for here is us on our back. We're creating tension throughout our core. We're not compressing our back against the and imprinting the floor here. So I want to leave the imprint out. My hands are up towards the ceiling. My knees are bent. Notice what I did with my feet there. Heels come outward. Okay, so I point my heels. If you leave your toes pointed, you're going to notice that when you kick out during the motion, you're going to have a pull in your hip flexor in the psoas muscle. So I want my heels pointed out, hands towards the ceiling. I'm going to drop and kick one leg as I raise the arm over my head. I'll bring it back together, then switch. So what that does is it creates a co-contraction between the leg extension and the arm extension, creating that tightness across shoulder to oblique. So you're getting some what would be rectus abdominis engagement as well, but you're really exaggerating your oblique muscles in this movement. I really like this one for stability. So if we're trying to create a solid base in which we can start to build into deadlifts with a barbell, squatting with a barbell, we need to be stable throughout our spine, okay, and create a good, sturdy kinetic chain. So when we get into those intermediate lifts, you'll notice that some of that changes. We'll be doing more barbell stuff. But in general, guys, to end today's video, what you would do for these exercises is not one set. No. You need to produce some stimulus in your body, meaning you need to go through a bit of that alarm and shock stage that your body goes through when it has sustained a workload. So you're going to challenge your body with 3 sets of 10 repetitions or more. So 3 sets of 10 repetitions or more for each exercise in this rotation. You're more than welcome to cycle through all of them and come back to the first exercise, or you can hit legs and start with that and give yourself a short rest time in between, 30 to 60 seconds. That's going to be variable among your fitness level starting. The choice is yours, and there's no one right or wrong answer. When you're just getting started, focus on moving. Focus on what your body's telling you. Try to get an understanding of how these muscles feel when they're being engaged. And then you'll start to be able to progress into our intermediate videos that you'll find next time. So thanks guys for tuning in. I appreciate all the support, and keep a lookout for more videos because we'll have some meaningful content coming your way. Until then, never forget, aspire to inspire.